Well, well, well. The Cowboys plucked the Eagles. Is there anything left to say before we get this started? Yeah, it is Overreaction Monday. The Cowboys. Standing ovation for perseverance. Standing ovation. The Cowboys are in the playoff hunt. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, 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 Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We got a lot more things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. Cowboy fans, it's a short week. We got a short way to go, so we got to really get a lot of things in. And some of this is overreaction, but we're going to keep it real today too. We're going to keep it absolutely real. If we are truly a championship level team, if the Super Bowl is the goal, then we're going to have to talk real also. Today, we will be talking about overreactions. Overreactions. I have 6. Oh, you're going to tell me if they're overreactions. Number 2, I want y'all to listen to the Dak Prescott press conference. I haven't listened to it, but I read something that he said. And I told y'all this last night. Dak Prescott is going to give us some 411 on CeeDee Lamb. That's going to lead us to Lamb struggling. Lamb is struggling, and I told you why he's struggling last night. I'm going to reiterate it today. George Pickens. I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. George Pickens is one of the main reasons we won that game last night. And we're having the wrong discussion. Everybody's all in their feelings about who's better between CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. That's not even the discussion right now. George Pickens, the discussion is George Pickens the best wide receiver in football? Because right now, we don't even be talking about who is the best between these two. I'm glad we got both of them. But I'm telling us, because we're all in our feelings about CeeDee Lamb, even we are holding this man back in our own talk. We don't want to talk him up too much because we don't want to say he's better than CeeDee Lamb. I don't care if he's better than CeeDee Lamb. I'm just telling you the facts. George Pickens, right now, is arguably the best wide receiver in football. And I'm glad we got him, and I'm going to tell you why. And last but not least, it just makes me laugh how people are so quick to chatter about Jerry Jones don't want to win. Jerry Jones gets Quinnen Williams. They win 2 games in a row, and the defense looks absolutely insane. Then fire Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus may have called one of the best games I've seen him call this season. Matt Eberflus called a heck of a game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the people who were saying fire this man, they went radio silent. Man, we got to stop this stuff. If you're going to say it, at least be able to come back and say, okay, maybe I was wrong about it. But that's the show today. Overreactions, Dak presser, Lamb struggling, Pickens thriving, Cowboys defense. Let's go. Let's get it. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep this thing going. Let's get us a greeting in for about a minute. Let's go. Let's get it. Reading, St. Quiddy, what up with you? Yeah, rushing yards from running back against Cowboys D after the Big Q trade. 43 total yards. Yeah. Jerry's doing his thing. John Henry said, let's go, Cowboys. It is the true Texan. CD trying to fight an enemy who is outpost in his mind. Amen. Amen, Mose Logan. Amen, true Texan. Let's go, Mose Logan, what up? He said CD need to tighten up and feed off GP3 because he's on fire. Amen. I agree with you. Do it. K. Choice, God is great. Yep. Let's talk Cowboys. Should Murray see less time on the bench? Seemed like he had a better game this week. But I want to see more Logan Wilson. Dominique, what up? He said, come on, brother. You're really on this CD thing. We need to be on this CD thing. And I'm going to show you why we need to be on this CD thing. Dominique Pittman, I'm sorry. I'm not letting CD Lamb slide. I wouldn't be true to myself. I'm not letting CD Lamb slide. I love the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not putting CD Lamb before the Cowboys. I'm not letting CD Lamb slide because CD Lamb, after he acted a doggone fool on the sideline last night, and they pulled the game off after he thought he had dropped the game-winning touchdown. The Cowboys got the ball back. George Pickens makes a big play. They win the game. And guess who dodged? Guess who dodged the media? Could it have been CD Lamb? Nah, he gonna get the smoke from me today. Lock and D, what up? Marlon Dillard, 5 points of the star. Mills, what up with you? Bobby, 10-6-6-9. Big Mouse Dog. The Queen, what up, Queen? Darryl Ragsdale, what's going on? Georgie George, what's going on? Persevere. What up, JG, for real? Gary Thorcell, we them boys. What's going on? Alicia, what's going on with you? Man, what a great game. Short week, prayerfully, our boys stay hyped and they're ready. I believe they're going to beat the Chiefs. What up, Brandon Cup? Good to see you. Chris Dunaway, Raymond Estrada. It is Lynn from the 903. Lynn, it was a tale of two halves. The Cardiac Cowboys are back. We were ready to go shopping in the first half, and then we couldn't leave the television in the second half. The Cowboys, it was a tale of two halves. It was a great game. What's going on, James Bond? Q-Town dude, Quentin Johnson up in this thing. It is Rose. And the last but not least, well, let me get a couple more here. But it's my girl, Niecy. What up, Niecy? Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling, Niecy. We got to deal with it. Mr. 72 Chevelle, what up? Lonnie Cabal, what's going on? Yes, let's get this thing. Timothy Goldman, what up? Why is CD not focusing on his craft? Justin Durham, he said, salute to the channel. Appreciate you. D-Hawk 06, what up with you? Niecy says again, 100% agree with you, G. Pickens is the man. And I'm going to finish with Ice Wall Cowboy. What up, Ice Wall? All right, let's get into this thing. Overreaction Monday. Overreaction Monday. I got 6 overreactions before we get to the Dak Prescott presser. 6 overreactions. And y'all tell me if these are overreactions. Hold on a second. First up, Overreaction Monday. CD Lamb is struggling. CD Lamb is struggling. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but CD Lamb is struggling. And I'm going to tell you what he's struggling with. Don't confuse this with he's jealous of George Pickens. He's not jealous of George Pickens. CD Lamb loves George Pickens. But CeeDee Lamb also is suffering from the fact that George Pickens is playing at an elite level. He's not playing at a great level. No, he's playing at an elite level. And he's playing at such an elite level that CeeDee Lamb, because he's not playing at an elite level, he's in his own head. He's not mad at George Pickens. Lamb is mad at himself. That's who CeeDee Lamb is mad at. Because CeeDee Lamb is saying, I'm better than what I am, but I'm not performing like I'm as good as I am. And it's not helping that George Pickens, let me just give you this. If I'm not mistaken, last night, CeeDee Lamb had 11 targets. He caught 4 passes. And the pass interference that he got, I said this during the game. I didn't say it last night. Didn't want to rain on anybody's parade. But the pass interference that CeeDee Lamb got, if you look at that on the replay, that was probably pass interference on CeeDee Lamb. Normally when a wide receiver extends his arm to separate from a defender, they'll normally call that on the offense. But I'm not mad. The Cowboys caught a break. Maybe the referees were giving us a break because they missed the punt. They missed the finger that got on the punt that they called against us, roughing the punter, which extended an Eagles drive that got them a touchdown. So, I don't know. Maybe they were trying to find a way to get that back. But that was actually pass interference on CeeDee Lamb. But hey, I'm not mad. Because those are the breaks when you allow human beings to call a game. CeeDee Lamb had 11 targets, 4 passes caught. Do y'all realize that George Pickens had 9 targets? George Pickens caught all 9 of the targets for 100 and I think 46 yards. This dude is playing out of his mind. It's amazing. We're down 21-7 in the first half. I'm thinking George Pickens might have had 1 target. He gets 10 targets or however many he got, because it wasn't many in the first half. He gets all the rest of the targets in the second half, and the Cowboys score. They get to 24 points. They score 17 unanswered points. I've been telling y'all this. We got to start separating these two conversations. We don't need to have the conversation about who's better between George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. We don't need to have that conversation. I'm just going to give you the cold hard facts. George Pickens is arguably the best wide receiver in football right now. And Lamb is struggling with the fact that he's not performing up to his own standards. Y'all tell me, is CeeDee Lamb struggling? Because I'm going to tell you that he is. And I'm going to show you something about him later on that is got me on fire right now as it applies to CeeDee Lamb. Y'all, some of y'all, hey, I'm not mad at you. Y'all can let this slide all you want to. But this stuff that CeeDee Lamb is pulling, that he pulled yesterday, it's pure childish. And I thought CeeDee Lamb was past this nonsense. I thought he was past this nonsense, but he's not. He's not past it. Overreaction number 2. The Cowboys won this game despite Brian Schottenheimer. Y'all tell me if I'm overreacting. Brian Schottenheimer, I'm riding with him till the wheels fall off, but he's got me a little livid right now. Yeah, I know we won, but guys, we're talking about making a playoff run. And if we're talking about making a playoff run, he got to clean up some things that he's doing. Brian Schottenheimer, 3 out of 4 weeks, has called a terrible game. Brian Schottenheimer came out on the first 2 drives, didn't score. Brian Schottenheimer's offense has looked at times in the games anemic. Last night, calling timeouts on that last drive. How about going, I'm thinking it's around what? When they got the fumble on Elijah Clark. How do you get to the 2-yard line and you throw it how many times? What? You're on the 2-yard line, bro. Run it in. Why does Brian Schottenheimer get down inside of the 3-yard line and start playing cute? Brian Schottenheimer went forward on 4th down twice, came away with 0 points. Twice. And on both occasions could have got points. And that one last night, the way the defense was playing, do y'all know we could have won that game 3 minutes earlier? If he goes ahead and kicks that field goal, that game is over. Philly wasn't scoring again. Philly was not scoring again. Brian Schottenheimer and then gets to the podium and says he would do it again. Really, Brian? I'm being real, y'all. Y'all tell me if y'all see something different. But Brian Schottenheimer seemed like he was trying everything that he could to lose the game. I said it last night. I'm going to say it again. Dak Prescott, George Pickens, that defense deserve all the credit. Dak Prescott, off-script plays, rolling outside the pocket, running the ball, made a flip into the end zone for one of the touchdowns. The one to Kevontae Turpin, that was Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was on fire yesterday. He was playing his butt off because his coach wasn't coaching his butt off. Dak Prescott, in spite of the coach, balled out. Matt Eberflus, I never thought I'd say it. I definitely didn't think I was going to say it in 2025. Are you telling me that Matt Eberflus out-coached Brian Schottenheimer in 2025? Matt Eberflus out-coached Brian Schottenheimer last night. It's amazing to me nobody's talking about this. This dude, Matt Eberflus, it's not just Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams is elite. He is the reason why they've made the change. But the way Matt Eberflus used him, the way he's using all of these players, the rotations Matt Eberflus is using. I mean, this dude is doing things in Dallas he didn't do other places. He is blitzing. We asked for it, he's giving it to us. He's blitzing. He's man-to-man. He's 5-man fronts. I mean, he is varying up the calls. And this dude, do we not realize they held Saquon Barkley? He already hasn't been playing well. Do y'all know the Cowboys held this man to less than 25 yards? What? Brian Schottenheimer is starting to look, he's starting to hit me like he's a little bit arrogant. Because he was really kind of, man, he was at that podium last night like he called this great game. Nah, bruh. I'm not giving it to you. This team won in spite of Brian Schottenheimer. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Number 3. The Cowboys are still in the playoff race. It's amazing to me. I started this series about 3 weeks ago. All of a sudden, people are getting on the bandwagon. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I think the Cowboys, I've always thought they are very much in the race. I told y'all this when the Cowboys were at 3 wins. Well, now the Cowboys are at 5 wins. And the Cowboys have a not-so-hot Kansas City Chiefs team coming to Dallas. A not-so-hot Kansas City Chiefs team. And now we find out that they are going to be missing the best offensive lineman on their line. Uh-oh. Cowboys defensive line, they are about to eat again. They are about to eat again. We're going to see Patrick Mahomes running for his life. He will be running for his life on Thursday. But the Cowboys are going to set this thing on fire when they beat the Chiefs. The Cowboys will be 6-5-1. And the only game that if the Cowboys play their game that I can see giving them trouble is when they go to Detroit. But other than that, the last 4 games, the Cowboys should be able to win those games. Commanders, who is it? Commanders, Chargers, Giants. Cowboys should be able to win those games. I forget the other team. We'll look at it in a moment. Number 4. Matt Eberflus has fixed the defense. It's only been 2 games. This might be an overreaction. It's only been 2 games. But he looked great against the Raiders. He looked great for most of the game against the Eagles. Matt Eberflus, I explained it earlier, but man, Matt Eberflus, I just got to give him credit. Man, they gave this dude, they gave him Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson, Savon Revel Jr. is back, Demarion Overshown's back, Kalen Carson is back, and this defense looks totally different. Totally different. And Matt Eberflus is coaching like somebody who is saying, you finally gave me some players and I appreciate it. He's coaching. I just thought he coached his butt off. Y'all tell me. I'm not going to say it's 100% fixed. Boy, we look about 70% there. Y'all tell me what you think. Overreaction number 5. George Pickens. George Pickens is the best wide receiver in football. You tell me if that's an overreaction. George Pickens is the best wide receiver in football. I don't think it's an overreaction. George Pickens is unguardable. He is doing some things. I'm telling you. George Pickens has put together a tool set that is insane to me. When George Pickens came here, he was known for the jump ball. That's what he was known for, the jump ball. Yeah, man, you throw it up, he'll go get it. Nah, man, George Pickens is not just doing jump balls. George Pickens is doing slants. He's doing digs. He's doing comebacks. He's doing out routes. He's doing it all. This dude, George Pickens, is in his bag right now. And everybody know it. And you know what's so scary about George Pickens? Y'all don't think the Raiders saw the tape on George Pickens? They had no answer. Do y'all know Philadelphia saw the tape on George Pickens? They had no answer. I was mad at Brian Schottenheimer against the Denver Broncos because y'all want to keep it real. Denver had no answer. No team in the I don't think there's been a team this year, being honest with you. Do y'all remember when CeeDee Lamb went out for 3 games? Do y'all realize that George Pickens had 3 of the craziest games you'll ever see in your life? He did that with no Pickens. With no Lamb. Pickens did this with no Lamb. And now with Lamb back, 9 for 146? What? You can tell me overreacting if you want to. I'm not going to be mad at you. But I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing with my eyes. George Pickens is the best wide receiver in football right now. And I'm not going to tell you it's not close because this dude in Jiba, whatever his name is, he balling over in Seattle. But George Pickens, whoo! He doing it. Nisi, I will give you this part right here. I will agree with you on this part. This team under Shotty is not giving up. That game last night under McCarthy would have been over after the Philly second TD. Niecy, I agree. But let me balance it out, Niecy. Niecy, can I balance it out? Niecy, can you tell me when did Mike McCarthy ever have a wide receiver duo like this? When did he ever have a wide receiver duo like this? Niecy, I'm actually wondering if Mike McCarthy was here with this wide receiver room. I'm just wondering, would he actually be starting Kevontae Turpin at the third wide receiver spot? Because I'm wondering if Mike McCarthy might actually have Ryan Flournoy starting at the third wide receiver spot, or maybe even trying Jonathan Mingo out. But I don't think he'd be having Turpin. Man, I'm just telling us, Niecy, and I'm agreeing with you. I think he's done a great job with the culture piece. But the play calling, it leaves a lot to be desired. Some of the decision making leaves a lot to be desired. And it's like getting worse over the last 2 games. But because of, I think, some of the things he's instilled inside of these players, Dak Prescott bailed him out. Pickens bailed him out. Defense bailed him out. I just wonder, I mean, when you look at what Brian is playing with, Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb were never this. They were never this. Lamb and Pickens are in their prime. Amari Cooper, and then when they got Lamb is coming in, you know, he's a rookie. Lamb's a rookie, second year. He's not where Pickens is right now. I mean, Pickens is this dude is at peak performance right now. But I get what you're saying. I like Brian Schottenheimer on that line. But Brian's going to have to realize, Niecy, and I think we're all going to have to face it. Last night was great. But you can't win games like that consistently. That is not sustainable. You're not spotting teams in the playoffs, and especially multiple teams. You're not spotting them on those points and come back. You're not doing it. Brian needs to get a better game plan. And it seems like he's a little bit cocky because, I mean, let's just be honest. He's got some great players on offense. He's got some great players. But he's got to clean this game up. Now, Niecy, we riding with him. I'm riding with him till the wheels fall off. And the frame is scraping down the road. But I need him. He's got to clean it up a little bit. But I agree with you. All right. And finally, I said George Pickens is the best wide receiver in the game right now. Finally, Dak Prescott has moved to the front of the MVP race. That's where I am right now. Dak Prescott has moved to the front of the MVP race. Dak Prescott played his butt off yesterday. That looked like vintage Dak Prescott. Flipped into the end zone, had another run. He tried to run around the right side, didn't quite get in. He was throwing, he was scrambling, he was extending plays. Dak Prescott was in his bag yesterday. Dak Prescott is, in my eyes, right now, the front runner for the MVP. Y'all tell me what you think. Those are my 6 overreactions for the week. CeeDee Lamb is struggling. Cowboys won despite Brian Schottenheimer. Addendum, I'll give Niecy his culture I like, but his play calling I don't, and his decision making I don't. I want him to clean that up, but I like him because I don't think with some of the things the Cowboys have went through this year, I think it would have been a dumpster fire had Mike McCarthy been here and they would have traded Michael Parsons. I think it would have been a dumpster fire. Mike McCarthy been here and someone passed away on the team the way Nealon did. So I'm giving Brian Schottenheimer kudos for that. But he has got to clean this game plan up. This is 3 out of 4 games where Brian Schottenheimer is not calling good games. He's not calling good games. I want to see Brian get back to some creativity. Get to some creativity and show us that you're actually out here looking at film and you're exploiting weaknesses on these teams. But the Cowboys are still in the playoff race. Matt Eberflus has fixed the defense. George Pickens is the best wide receiver in football. Dak Prescott is in the lead for the MVP. And we'll cover these more in depth as you look at the topics that we have up. Here we go. So next up, I want to go to the Dak Prescott presser. Now, I actually have not listened to it, but I did see something that Dak Prescott said that has definitely tweaked my spidey senses, and I want to hear what he says in context as he talks about CeeDee Lamb. And then I'm going to go off of that, and I'm going to show you some stuff that CeeDee Lamb did that is very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing.
Clarence, go.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Just talk about the jubilation of this type of comeback. Went down 21-0, and I don't know if you believed or gave up hope. A lot of people did, thought it was over, and to have a comeback like that.
It was needed. Yeah, that game was needed. And no, never blinked, never had any doubt, and 1,000% believed from the beginning. I mean, there was times, right, I'm telling guys, believe, and then there was a moment there in the fourth quarter where a book goes, believe, and I go, I know. Like, we're done with the believe. We've believed long enough, and we've got ourselves back in this game. Like, now you've got to know. And so that's just it's a testament to this brotherhood, sticking together, going down 21 against the defending Super Bowl champs in a division game is tough. And like you said, I'm sure there was fans. I'm sure there was people, right, oh, this is over. These guys are going to run off. But defense. I can't give them enough credit. We wouldn't have won this game without the opportunities that they gave us over and over again. It was also moments of just, when they get a stop or something happen, whether it was Quentin or Donovan, one of those guys telling me, we got you. And then when they did stop, I'm telling them, we told you. It was just continuation of what we did last week and just sticking together. And like I said, it's about the brotherhood. And trust me, once again, we're always going to do it and do it for Marshawn, and he was felt tonight, and I'm sure he was playing right there alongside with us.
Now, this is the part I want to come back on and capitalize on what Nisi is saying. This is where I give credit to what Nisi is saying and what I give Brian credit for, and this is why I ride with Brian, because he's built a brotherhood. He has done that. I'm giving him all the credit in the world. He's built a great brotherhood. He's built some great team chemistry. He went a long way towards building a culture that, again, could handle adversity. That's what Brian has done. He's built a culture that can endure Michael Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Marshawn Nealon, what we were going through with Matt Eberflus and the defense for those first 9 to 10 weeks of the season. I mean, the defense was absolutely atrocious, and Brian is still riding with Matt Eberflus, gets in the defensive room. I mean, he's doing all kinds of things. He's building a very good, and he's built a very good culture in Dallas. And then we see last night that Dak Prescott has always had this attitude. Even in 2023, when the Cowboys lost against the Green Bay Packers in that playoff game, Dak Prescott was the only one who kept playing, and it was the rest of the team that had kind of given up. Had they had that same mentality in that Green Bay game, they might could have came back, but they gave up after they got down. And the only one that kept playing was Dak Prescott. Brian Schottenheimer was on this team at the time, I believe, as a consultant or something to that effect. Brian Schottenheimer was here. Brian saw a lot of those things. He took notes, and he has capitalized on some of those things that he saw that made that team fail. He has capitalized on it, and they are doing some things better. And yesterday was a testimony. They've channeled the Marshawn Nealon thing, and now they are out. They went out there yesterday and they beat a very good, I'm gonna say defense. They beat a very good defense. The offense had been struggling all season, even though they scored 21 points on us. And they got a few breaks by the referee. But nevertheless, the Cowboys persevered. Dak would have persevered anyway. But the whole team persevered. And that's why where I was impressed. And Nisi, again, I'm gonna give Matt Eberflus credit too. because Matt Eberflus didn't throw in the towel when they got down 21-0. I'm going to give Matt Eberflus his flowers for his perseverance of all of the scrutiny he faced during the beginning of the season. And he gets these players, and this dude looks totally different now. And all the people who've been talking about firing Matt Eberflus, they're radio silent. Yeah, I'm going to give Brian credit. He's built a very, very, very good culture. I'll give him that.
Sean and Shotty talked about the dance part in the locker room, his flag, his jersey, everybody was dancing. Can you describe the scene in there and what that was like?
I think I missed most of it. I think I did, yeah. I mean, if that's what it was, I think I missed that part doing the interview out there with GP. When I got in there, there's some dancing was fading off, and I honestly had a headache. So I just dapped off my people, gave love, and I know it was electric, though. I'm sure it was.
Dak Todd, Archer, the ESPN. Is how you guys win, is that something that can carry over and can keep going not only Thursday but into Detroit, into the upcoming games?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think how you win is just as important as, obviously the result, but the important part when you win a game like this, being down 21-0, there's going to be moments when you're down a touchdown. There's going to be moments when you're down maybe 2 touchdowns, and that's not going to be the last time for the season. And when you have a game like this, talking about the belief or knowing that's what this allows guys in that locker room to do is to believe we're going to come back, or know that we have the team, the brotherhood, the connection to do just that. I was just talking to Dave walking in here, and I love that. I love being down. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. Now, trust me, it's fun when you're up. You can laugh, you can joke, but when you're down, it requires such a unique place that you have to get to in resilience and focus and taking it one play at a time and just trying to lead the other guys and get them to do the same. And when they do, and you end up winning a game like this, this can be huge for us moving forward, and it will be. And as we talked about all week, getting on a run. This is a hell of a way to get number 2, and we've got to enjoy it tonight, and that's it, and be ready for Thursday.
How much better?
Dak is absolutely right. This Philadelphia game, when you win, the one thing I liked about last night, and then I'm going to read a couple of comments I see here. But one of the things I like about last night, y'all tell me what you think. Nisa, you tell me what you think. One of the things I liked about last night is the Cowboys won an ugly game. You got to win ugly games. This is the one thing that I have liked about the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's not much to like about the Philadelphia Eagles. But they over the last 2 years, the Eagles have not minded losing ugly. They don't care if Jalen Hurts only throws for 90 yards and they win a game. They don't care. You gotta, it's not that you don't want to clean up your game and do things better than you did in that game. But if the game is ugly and you scratch and claw and you find ways to, excuse me, you find ways to make plays and get yourself back in the game, those are the kind of games that build character. Elijah Clark. We can't speak enough about the special teams. The punt coverage team. Man, Elijah Clark made one of the most electric plays you will see in your life. And it was very disappointing that Brian Schottenheimer gets it down there at the goal line and starts throwing the ball rather than running it in. I mean, that was an incredible play. The Cowboys should have punched that ball in for a touchdown right there and headed that ball to Elijah Clark. That was incredible. But that's the part that I liked. Ugly. It's just ugly. It was an ugly game. And Dak Prescott was up to the task. And let me tell you something. Boy, I mean, man, if you, there are some people that if you ever get in a fight, you want them with you. Shoot. Man, let me tell you something. Having George Pickens with you in a fight, Man, George Pickens and Dak Prescott, I'm just telling us right now. Jerry is signing George Pickens. Jerry is signing George Pickens. Book it. Dak Prescott and George Pickens are such a good match. Their mentality, they are such a good match. There is no quit in George Pickens. I've noticed this over the entire course of this season. There is no give up in this guy. This guy is a fighter. He's a dog. George Pickens does not give up. There is no quit in George Pickens. George Pickens, I'm just trying to communicate to us what we're seeing in George Pickens. And don't get lost in the debate of how you feel about him and CeeDee Lamb. Don't get lost in that, because you're going to miss what George Pickens is doing. George Pickens' mentality is what makes him so incredible. Do y'all realize George Pickens, he really believes, I think he believes he's the best wide receiver in the game. I think he believes it. I don't think he just believes it. I think he knows it. I'm the best wide receiver in the game, and every play, every time I get the ball, I'm going to show everybody. George Pickens is incredible, man. What he's doing right now, man, we all need to be paying attention, because the way he's playing is going to be the very thing that's going to get us past some of these games like we played last night. You want to win an ugly game? George Pickens is the player you need to win an ugly game. And Dak Prescott, there's no quit in him. These guys are a perfect match. Perfect match. 5 points to the star said that's the beauty of having two dogs. I'm going to come back to this comment when we get to George Pickens. Michael said, I was giving Shotty the side eye on that first field goal he passed up and was seething when he went for it on the last one on the goal line. Yeah, man. Yeah, Shotty was doing some stuff. And I'm like, Shotty, man, you can't be doing this. John Lestico, he said, I don't understand taking the time out 3 in a row. You tell me. Brian's making some bad decisions, man. He really was. He's making some bad decisions. All right, let's read these super chats, then we're going to get back to Dak Prescott. True Texan. Appreciate you. True Texan. True Texan says, Floose, get his flowers. He has earned them. Barry Switzer. He said Barry Switzer was bad about the fourth down BS. Shotty needs to knock it off. Poor game calling for sure. Yeah, Shotty's been calling bad games. And that's why I'm telling us, if you look at the game, I mean, what really turned that game around was Dak Prescott's resiliency. They started targeting George Pickens. The defense rose to the occasion. Oh, it was incredible. It was incredible. Ugly game. Love the fact they won an ugly game. I think you need to win about 2 or 3 ugly games a year, because it keeps you grounded and it keeps everything in perspective. Star Guardian X, appreciate the super chat. Yeah, Pickens playing like the best receiver in the league. He is. Right now, he's playing like the best receiver in the league. Now, Njibba, I'm going to have to listen to how this guy pronounces his name. The wide receiver from Seattle. Yeah, he's in there, though. Yeah, he in there. He's just not making the spectacle. He's in there. Star Guardian said, gee, you think our 1-2 punch is Williams and Davis? Appreciate the super chat. You know what? I'm gonna reserve full judgment on this. I do like the way Malik Davis runs the ball, but I got a funny feeling that they're still going to give Jaden Blue his opportunity. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Cowboys are speed deficient. They're not using Kevontae Turpin in the right way. They've nullified his speed. They got him out there playing like a traditional third receiver. So if he's playing like that, the only way you use his speed is when you go off script like Dak Prescott did yesterday, and you point him to go this way, and then you throw it, he's in space, and then he outruns everybody. But as far as play design goes, Brian Schottenheimer, put him in the backfield, that's stupid. He fumbles the ball, trips over his own feet, fumbles the ball. He only weighs 154 pounds, I think it is, 155 pounds. Why are you running Cavante Turpin when you got Jaden Blue? And somewhere along the lines, we're going to have to start just telling ourselves the truth. They can tell us anything they want to about Jaden Blue, but this seems like bias against Jaden Blue by Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer has taken so many shots at Jaden Blue this year, and I don't know if they're deservedly so. I don't really know because they don't really give you the details on what Jaden Blue is doing. But you're going to put Cavante Turpin in the backfield, line him up in the I formation, and hand him the ball. He fumbles the ball. What do? You turn around and you still want to feed Cavante Turpin because it's like you want to prove to him that you still trust him. You try to get him on a jet sweep, doesn't do anything, gets out there on the doggone kickoff, on a punt, does a fair catch and then tries to run the ball. There is something going on. There is some bias against Jaden Blue. The team needs speed. I like Malik Davis, but he's not. You got to get world-class speed on the field. And some of this stuff with Jaden Blue is starting to sound like an excuse to me, Star Guardian. This seems like bias to me. I'm having a hard time with this compete everyday stuff because we've seen where there have been players who have not been good as the players who were behind them. And those players are still playing. And I do think with Cavante Turpin, I'm just telling you what I believe that it is. Because Stephen Jones said the money stays on the field. They paid Cavante Turpin. They want him on the field. That's what it sounds like to me. Cavante Turpin shouldn't be lining up in the backfield. Cavante Turpin shouldn't be getting all of the third receiver snaps. Ryan Flanoy has outplayed Cavante Turpin, and it makes no sense that he's not the third wide receiver. But again, I'm sorry, Star Guardian X. I'm just saying all of that to say, I'm going to reserve judgment on this thing with Malik Davis and Javonte Williams because I still think Jaden Blue is going to get his opportunity, whether it be Brian Schottenheimer doing it on his own or the Joneses making a phone call down there and saying, we want to see more Jaden Blue. Jamalism, what's up? Appreciate that super chat. Jamalism said, gee, would you leave Nate Thomas in at left tackle? It looked like the line played better when he came in. Well, I can tell you this, Jamalism, don't look like they're going to have a choice. Tyler Guyton is going to miss, if I'm not mistaken. They're saying Tyler Guyton is going to miss at least the next 2 games with a high ankle sprain. So we're going to see what Nate Thomas can do. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think the Cowboys, we got to start being honest about Tyler Guyton. He's getting better. But you need an elite left tackle. You want to win Super Bowls, you got to get you an elite left tackle. Or at least a great one. The Cowboys just may have to face the facts. They may either need to go draft them another one, and they probably won't do it. Or maybe they just need to go trade for one if there's one out there next year in free agency or somebody who wants to be traded. But the Cowboys really need to show up that left tackle position. And we've said before, maybe move Tyler Guyton to right tackle. But who's to say he can play that in the NFL? He's played more left tackle now in the pros than he ever played in college. So I don't know. We're going to see what's going on with Tyler Guyton. Nate Thomas has played pretty good in spurts, but I need to see a little bit more from Nate Thomas. And I just don't think you need to go cheap at a left tackle. I just don't think you go cheap. Brandy, what up? She said, Shotty had me yelling when he didn't challenge the hitting the punter call. Bad decisions. Blue Star said, gee, what happened to those Eagles? They got plucked. Whoa. What up, Blue Star? They talking hot trash, how they were going to blow us out. This Dallas team right now ain't sweet. KC is next on the list, and then Detroit. Yeah, I think we're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a discussion going on right now over there in Philadelphia, Blue Star. Let me tell you something that is crazy to let you know how great Dak Prescott is playing. Dak Prescott is playing so good right now that they are over there on some of the outlets in Philadelphia saying how many Super Bowls the Philadelphia Eagles would win if Dak Prescott was their quarterback. This is what they're saying. JCT Slice, what up? He says, Shotty is a Mike McCarthy because he has way more energy. I'll give you that. And will actually challenge people to get things done. But at times, his overlooking of things is like Mike McCarthy. Facts. Even some of his play calling. Yeah, even some of his play calling. Yeah, even some of his play calling. All right, let's check out some more Dak Prescott.
Is it to have a record that you set tonight in a win?
One more time. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. They did the whole deal when we were during the timeout break, and some of the guys were congratulations, and I'm like, no, like whatever. Like we'll celebrate this when we win. Like I don't want to hear anything about that right now. And yeah, so I mean now I can enjoy that a little bit. Reflect, I'm sure, smile, laughed. I can tell you, when initially I looked up and saw my name up there and saw that, there was a little emotion that hit me that I damn sure wasn't ready for and didn't know that would come. And I think that's why I countered it with anger of like, no, let that go. Like we'll celebrate this later. Blessed, thankful. I'm just a result of a lot of hard work, good people around me, great teammates that care, and we're gonna keep going.
John Machado with The Athletic.
Let me read this comment from Yolanda Steven. You obviously don't come here a lot because this is a bold-faced lie. You said you was the main one said firing the DC. Now you back talking. I'm just going to tell you the facts. Yolanda, I'm sorry, but you're lying. You're lying, Yolanda. You're not listening. Because with Matt Eberflus, anybody who's been listening can tell you I said about Matt Eberflus, conflicted. Because Matt Eberflus, yes, Matt Eberflus's issue was didn't want to make changes. Matt Eberflus, is the system bad? Yeah, I guess it was bad. I guess it was bad, but I also said, but a part of this is, are the players good enough for the system? Are the players good enough for the system? And so with Matt Eberflus, I said this many times. It's like we were arguing against Matt Eberflus, but we were arguing for Matt Eberflus because we were arguing that the system stink, but we were also arguing that the players were not there. And I had been saying, I didn't think the Cowboys were going to fire Matt Eberflus because anybody who's been here, and this is how I know you haven't been following, because when people were saying replace him with White Cotton or whoever the case may be, I said, who would you bring in that would get you anything better than what Matt Eberflus was doing? You got to bring them in. They got to implement a system. How many games would it take for them to do it? Why would you do it? If they did it, I wasn't going to be mad at them. But at the same time, I knew Jerry wasn't going to do it. Because as I said, they're not going to make what they're calling the same mistake. 3 defensive coordinators, 3 years. They were not going to do it. They were not going to come in with a 4th. But I did say, but if Matt Eberflus, after getting Logan, after getting Williams, after Overshown coming back, getting back Savon Revel Jr., didn't even expect Kalen Carson to be playing. I did say, but if he don't do something with those players, it is time to take the training wheels off. It is time to do something. If you don't do something with Quinnen Williams, you do need to be fired. But he did something. And that's how I know you don't know what you're talking about. That's how I know you don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's get some more in here. I just can't stand when people come in and start saying stuff that are just pure lies. Got respect. Hey, hang in here. Do it. Hey, get into conversations, but don't just say, don't spew lies. All right, let's get back to Dak Prescott. I want to see if we can catch this. I want to see what he's saying. Yeah, Nisi, Mingo is still on the team. And according to what I heard Brian Schottenheimer say is, now follow this, Nisi. This is the part where I'm really confused. He said that Ryan Flournoy has played so good that Mingo can't get on the field. You're barely letting Flournoy get on the field. The reality is this team is giving too many third wide receiver snaps to one Cavante Turpin. It's just facts. He's not producing. They should keep him as he is. Gadget guy, keep him on kick returns, but I know they paid him and they want to play him.
Can you take us through your touchdown run, and then after you scored, just kind of what your feeling was at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it was a play that particularly drawn up. No, it can beat man. It's definitely a man beater. Obviously, it can beat zone as well, but you want it for man, and you bring the motion for the indicator, and I realized, okay, yeah, it's not man. I'm going to have to take a drop and allow, the play to develop. And when I did that, had to rush up the edge, and I just got out, just natural, right? Got out, and when I did, Ferg did a great job of realizing he had a guy on him. He wasn't going to get the ball and just turned up, blocked him, allowed me to be one-on-one with the guy. Didn't want to get hit in the knees, so I jumped and got a good roll. And then after that, I mean, it was just electric, just the love and the energy from the teammates, the sideline. That moment, I knew this game was going to be ours.
And then with George Pickens, I mean, he's obviously played well this season, but has he reached a level today where maybe even he exceeds your expectations at all?
It's hard for me to say exceeds my expectations. I mean, my expectations are limitless with that guy, and he'll tell you he's not from here. I'm sure you all read his article, right? The Players Tribune. He's not from here. He's not from this planet, and so I'm not going to put limitations on him. He went out there and does what he's done in games, and when he's gotten that opportunity, and honestly, at practice at well, like the guy loves the game. He stays focused. Just the communication. I know I've mentioned before to other guys in the huddle about staying focused. Like just keep doing what you're doing. We lucked up into getting a guy like that, and we've got to make sure we can keep him here, and he's a hell of a player. He's turning into a leader, and he's special.
For the people in the back, stand on it, Dak Prescott. Stand on it. Yeah. George Pickens is an absolute alien. And again, nobody has to agree with me. But Pickens right now is arguably the best wide receiver in the game. He's the best wide receiver in the game. Mr. 72 Chevelle, he said, wait till GP gets paid, then watch what happens. I want to watch it because I want them to pay him. I want them to pay him, Mr. 72 Chevelle. I want them to pay him. I absolutely want them to play him because this dude is playing out of his mind right now. George Pickens is playing out of his mind. Yeah, they got to pay him. Quasi Blake, he said Stafford is the MVP right now. Okay, you get entitled to that. You can have that opinion. He is playing very good. But I'm still sticking with Dak Prescott because when I look at when I look at what Dak Prescott is playing with and has played with the entire season versus what Matthew Stafford has played with the entire season, when I look at the team that Stafford is playing with as far as his defense especially, he's had that defense all year. And when you think about the level of difficulty that Dak Prescott has have to deal with, I'm going with Dak Prescott. I'm going with Dak Prescott. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Brian Schottenheimer ain't even close to the play caller that he's not even close to the play caller that the Rams coach is. He's not even in the same conversation. When you think about what Dak Prescott is working with, shoo, man, Dak Prescott is the most valuable player on his team. I'm telling us. Nisa said Andy Reid has some great players, but he focuses on the right plays to call and the cute foolishness. Yeah. This is where Brian has got to get better, Nisi. I see some people in the comments even talking about how he gets too cute. He really does. He gets really cute down there in the red zone, and I think that's why they're suffering. He gets real cute down there, gets inside of the 5 and wants to throw the ball, throws the ball on the 1, the 2, the 3. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. But, hey, Brian's got to do better going forward. Yeah, I got what you said, Nisi. Yeah, not the foolishness. Yeah, he's got to get better. He's got to get better at this. Rich Lloyd said the fourth quarterback sack. Ezra Rocco did a brilliant move by moving inside Dickerson let Osa go to deal with 41. Ezra Rocker has elite instincts for such a young player. Yeah, he gonna be the man next year, man. Yeah, Ezra Rocker, he's gonna pay dividends down the stretch too. Marcus Moncherio, what up? He says, she lying, G. I give Flus much respect. He could have easily exposed the players. He took all the blame. I mean, people trashed this man disrespectfully. Yeah, that's why I said she ain't been here. Nah, she ain't been here. She ain't been here because I haven't been trashing Matt Eberflus that bad. Because like I said, I was conflicted on Eberflus. I really was. But hey, guess what? Now we're seeing what he looks like with players. Matt Eberflus is running his system. And I got to admit, at least for these 2 games, Matt Eberflus' system looks pretty good with players. Matt Eberflus' system looks pretty doggone good with players. And I think it's only going to get better. I think it's only going to get better. Rich Lloyd, my man, what up in here? He said Fowler got pressure on Hurts on a crucial 3rd down stop, forced a bad throw to get them off the field. Man, the defense played well, man. Got to give him credit. JG Real, appreciate that $10 super chat. Yeah, JG, you know what? JG, I'm going to have to go with you on this. I got to go with you. People saying Pickens playing like this for a contract. He said, I disagree. Pickens playing like this because he's a dog. It's just in him. He don't know how to play any other way. I'm going to agree with you because he was playing like this in Pittsburgh. Problem is they never had the they never had the quarterback that could get it to him. They never had the quarterback that could get it to this man. And that's why he was so frustrated. He was so frustrated in Pittsburgh. But now, whoo, man, he balling. He balling. All right, let's listen to more Dak Prescott. Nice interview by Dak.
Telegram. A couple of the guys in the locker room were talking about at halftime, some of the leaders really stepped up and made some big points that resonated with them. Is there anything that jumps out to you or what your message was at half?
No, I mean, I was just talking on what I was feeling, the emotions. I couldn't even tell you exactly what I said. I'm sure I was just saying something in the fact of, like, one, we had just got that touchdown, right? Like, if we don't have that touchdown before that half, like that halftime, that energy, the confidence that, you know, maybe I'm speaking with or other guys speaking with maybe isn't quite there, I guess you can say. But, you know, when we did that and you realize, like, all those other possessions, we just hurt ourselves, right? Turnover in the red zone by myself, from me at the interception, the fumble, and the plus territory, like, we were only hurting ourselves. So I mean, I think that's what I was like, hey, we stopped shooting ourselves in the foot, or I said we probably blew off our foot. Oh, well. We gave them a 21-point lead, but we realized these guys, we knew we had the upper hand. And so it was just about sticking together, and I told them our brotherhood. And a lot of that type of stuff, and you could tell it was resonating. You could tell guys were feeling it, and I know the defense had their own thing going, and I heard them, and that gives you confidence on our side of the ball that then we went out and did it.
I'm sure you're no stranger to the big picture view. Very little room for error the rest of the season. When your defense can get you 8 consecutive stops like they did tonight, what's the potential for this team to be able to make a push for the postseason?
Yeah, just take it one play at a time. You know, we got to find that unique place I was talking about being down. And, you know, we've got to almost go into every game with that mindset, you know, because as we said, it's not a one game at a time. Like, we've got to win every game. And with that being said, like, you can only do that winning every play and giving it your best every play. And, you know, when you do that, when you can stay focused and you can finish with your with the elite execution, you're going to feel confident and you're going to feel good about what you've done. So we've just got to find that, and it really starts at practice. It starts in these walkthroughs over the next couple of days and getting ready for Kansas City. So tons of confidence in this group, this team. And as I started this meeting off, I mean, it starts with our defense. They're the reason we're able to come back in this game and have a chance to win it. And we've got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, and this game could have been completely different.
Hey, Doug. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Shifting to CD a little bit, he had a lot of adversity over the majority of the game with the drops. You can see some of the frustration in his face. What was your message to him, and what can you say about his resiliency to keep his head level, to go down and make that play that you guys did on that free play?
Yeah, I mean, just he's a guy that expects to make a lot of plays, and when he's not making them, trust me, I've had games I felt the exact same way. And
now, I want to stop right here for a moment. I said this last night. I repeated it before we heard this interview. CeeDee Lamb is not mad at George Pickens. That's not his issue. CeeDee Lamb is mad at himself because CeeDee Lamb knows he's not performing well. That's why he's mad. And what's really turning that up is that the level is because George Pickens is playing at such a level right now that it's really showing how he's not playing as good as he should be playing. He's not mad at George Pickens, but he's mad that he's not playing as good as he knows he should be playing. And last night he knew, at least he thought. I believe he thought he had cost the team the game again because in the first game, he dropped 4 passes against the Eagles? A couple of them late that could have changed the game. Cowboys didn't win. He dropped another one in the end zone. CeeDee Lamb was going ballistic because he thought he had dropped the game-winning touchdown. CeeDee Lamb knows he's not performing. He's literally had 7 drops against the Eagles alone. 7 drops. CeeDee Lamb is mad at himself because he knows he's not performing up to the level of play that he knows he can. That's why he's frustrated. And he tried to take some of this out on Dak Prescott last night. I'll show you that in a moment. But this is what's going on with CeeDee Lamb. Because he can't be mad at George Pickens because, man, George Pickens helps him. He helps George Pickens. George Pickens helps him. George Pickens right now is just playing at a level, man, you just got to sit back and say, bro, you go and do what you do. You go and do what you do. When somebody playing like that, you don't try to get in the way. You don't get mad. You don't get jealous. You say, keep playing like that. I'm a grown man. I'll get mine. You keep on playing. Whatever, and the way he's playing is helping the team win. Lamb is not mad at Pickens. I promise us he's not. And even his lashing out at Dak Prescott, that's him mad at himself. And he's taking it out on Dak Prescott. Lamb has got some issues going on in his own head. That don't mean Lamb trash. Cowboys are not trading CeeDee Lamb. They would be ignorant to trade this man. Ignorant. You will never, I don't think you'll get this opportunity again for years to have 2 wide receivers this young in their prime on the same team. I said this before the season started. I believe this is the best wide receiver duo in the game. Because I said even then, I would take George Pickens over every quote-unquote number 2 wide receiver in any of those duos. So if you say CeeDee Lamb is top 3 and you'll take George Pickens over any of the other counterparts or the other half of those duos, I had said they were already the number 1 duo. But with the way George Pickens playing right now, man, George Pickens, this ain't about CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens is just doing something right now that's incredible. This dude is just playing like the best wide receiver in the game. Yeah, hey, Douglas Harrison, yep. She said, salute G in chat. He said, G, you was right. It's looking like 91. Yep, I said it before. It's looking kind of 1991-ish. They're finding themselves. Lynn said, yes, I know we on Shotty, but remember, this is his first year head coaching and calling plays. Yes. I have said before, Lynn, I think he needs a whole year as the Cowboys coach. But I want him to have some humility in this also and understand what's going on. I mean, you don't get this blessed to have Dak Prescott, 30-something-year-old quarterback in his prime, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, man. That is a blessing. And then Jerry go get Quentin Williams. Boy, I bet you Dak Prescott just, man, got to be ecstatic right now with some of the moves they're making. Star Guardian next. Appreciate that super chat. Star Guardian said receiving yards this season. George Pickens, 1,054 yards. Steelers wide receivers, 1,082. Steelers front office has to be sick. Oh, yeah. What a trade, Jerry. Standing ovation. Yes. Yeah, I agree. But again, this explanation he's given about CeeDee Lamb is key. CeeDee Lamb is mad at himself. And I said this last night. He's mad at himself.
So for me, it's about, hey, don't press. Let's not ride the highs and the lows. You know, even if you've had a
There it is. I said it last night. CeeDee Lamb, rather than catching the ball, CeeDee Lamb is saying, ooh, I got to catch the ball. Oh, I don't want to drop it. Oh, are my hands right? Do I turn them? How do I turn my hand? CeeDee Lamb is his own worst enemy right now. He's in his head. He's in his own head. This is nothing to do with Dak Prescott. This is nothing to do with George Pickens. This is nothing to do if somebody's having a conversation about which wide receiver. I mean, come on, man. We gotta stop giving ourselves so much credit on this stuff. It ain't gonna hurt CeeDee Lamb. It ain't gonna even hurt the Cowboys if we're having a conversation on which one of these guys is the best wide receiver. Because for me, man, to know how good these guys are, to be having that conversation, man, I'm feeling real good right now. I'm feeling real good because it don't matter. You can say who's better than who. When you know, well, if CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 wide receiver and we're arguing that George Pickens is better than CeeDee Lamb, then at the very least, we know we got 2 top 3 wide receivers. That's all I'm saying. Every discussion don't have to be an argument. It don't have to be we're turning each other against each other. No. Man, 2 things can be true. George Pickens is just playing out of his doggone mind right now. But again, Dak Prescott is spelling it out. CeeDee Lamb. He's in his own head. He's pressing. And what's got him pressing even more is that he had already said that when George Pickens makes a play, it makes him want to come back and make a play. Problem is, George Pickens is making a play. CeeDee Lamb ain't making a play. CeeDee Lamb is dropping the pass. George Pickens had 9 targets last night and didn't drop a pass. CeeDee Lamb is looking at George Pickens, not as an envy, but he's saying, I'm not playing up to my own standards. And I'm frustrated. That's why he skipped out last night. He skipped out because he overreacted. He overreacted because he thought he had dropped the game-winning touchdown only for the Cowboys to get another opportunity, and they came back and won the game. That's why he's mad. Dak knows what's going on with Lamb. Lamb sometimes, man, when things get... We saw this with Lamb in 2023 against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers had coverage to stop CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb wasn't open. He's going off in the huddle. He's going off on the sidelines. He's showing all of his immaturity. Now, I thought we were past this. But last night, it boiled over. And I don't understand I understand why it boils over, because the Cowboys come back, they get the score to 21 points. He could have caught the game-winning touchdown, and he didn't. And I'm telling you, you dream about those opportunities. You dream about the opportunities to win or catch the game-winning touchdown. CeeDee Lamb catches that touchdown. They're not interviewing CeeDee Lamb last night. I mean, they're not interviewing George Pickens last night. They're interviewing CeeDee Lamb, because then CeeDee Lamb is probably the player of the game. He's pressing too much. He's pressing himself too much. He's got to alleviate some of that pressure. And the Cowboys need to calm down with all this. Yeah, and when we come out in the next game, we're going to CeeDee Lamb and we're going to him a lot. Why say that stuff? Don't say that stuff. Man, the way George Pickens is playing right now, don't even say that stuff. It is what you don't have to volunteer that information. Nobody even asked you any of that stuff. Man, if they don't have an answer for George Pickens, you go to George Pickens and you let CeeDee Lamb work his way back in. And he'll be good to go. He'll be good to go in about another 2 to 3 games. Got to calm down. And I said it last night. The Cowboys are causing some of this anxiety on their own. I understand the psychology and, yeah, we're going right back to him in the next game. Calm down, man. Got to help CeeDee Lamb get back in the get him. You got to help CeeDee Lamb get back in the right headspace.
A bad play or whatever, maybe let it go. Like, you're a hell of a player and you know it. And yeah, like you said, he made great plays and big plays. The big catch down the end and got the PI, would have been a touchdown right after that. Yeah, and when you press, and I've seen CD do it, you're not going to get the best version of yourself. I'm the same way. And so for me, it's like when I can tell he's getting in that position, it's just about talking to him. And he did a good job of responding and just staying with it and made the plays that he needed to make for us ultimately win this game. And he's a hell of a player, and he's going to get frustrated when he's not making the plays that he expects to make. But he will make those. He will make those. As you just said, yeah, it was some adversity tonight. And we've seen it before, and we've seen the way that he responds. So, hell, I look forward to him responding.
I told y'all last night, man. I told y'all. This is a CeeDee Lamb problem. This is a CeeDee Lamb problem, nobody else. He's in his own head. And what really is turning up the pressure is that people are, and nobody's doing, I don't think anybody's doing it maliciously. People are just stunned at how good George Pickens is playing. They're stunned. This dude has exceeded. I knew George Pickens was going to be good. I knew he was going to be good. I got to be honest. I've been saying it now for a couple of weeks. This dude has exceeded all my expectations. He's exceeded my expectations, man. I said at the beginning of the season, I said Dak Prescott's going to have two 1,000-yard receivers, and that's still going to be true. But nobody would have imagined that George Pickens would be the dominant receiver? What? The whole league is in awe right now. There are teams that could have got George Pickens. They are kicking themselves in the butt right now. And for the Cowboys to get George Pickens for a third-round pick, y'all know how we said the Cowboys should have got more for Michael Parsons? How much you bet right now the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking at themselves going, we only getting a third-round pick? Boy, you want to talk about getting fleeced for a pick, boy. Man, Jerry Jones right now, boy, you can't tell Jerry Jones nothing. Man, this man feeling so good. Boy, this man feeling so good right now, he don't know what to do. Bass, what up, Bass? Bass said, Hurts actually is horrible against zone, like you said, G. I had to point that out, too. AJ was eating, but then 24 unanswered points. That's embarrassing for Philly. Yep. They got him with that zone. He's been struggling. They've been talking about him. He's been struggling bad with zone. Bad with zone. All right. Let's check this. Let's check out some more Dak. I'm telling you, man, when I read that statement today, I said, this is the very thing I explained last night. Lamb is in his own head. Lamb is in his own head. This ain't about him being mad, jealous of George Pickens. It ain't about any of that stuff. The dude is upset that he's not performing at the level that he know he is supposed to be performing at, especially during a time where George Pickens is just. But you know, for me, I would be ecstatic, and I would really. I wouldn't suppress my feelings, but I'd make sure I'd be on my best behavior because I want to make sure I don't want to give my team any notion that I'm selfish. I don't want to give my team, I don't want to bring my team down. I would be just, hey, you know what? I had a bad game today, man. I would go and I get my workout on. I'd go get my workout on, man. I'd go and do what I need to do to keep working on my own self. and not taking this stuff out on the team. I wouldn't take this stuff out on the team. I don't want the team to see me doing anything else but being a great teammate. And the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is that the reason why I'm saying that is CeeDee Lamb failed at that last night. CeeDee Lamb failed at doing that last night. And we'll talk about that. We're going to come out of this thing with Dak Prescott. It's 6:22. That was the part of the interview that I wanted to hear. So we'll stop it right there because I want to get to CeeDee Lamb. So I want to show you something that really bothered me. I talked about this last night. I saw it live on television. I saw it live on television and it bothered me. And now that I see the replay on it, it's even more disturbing. So I want to show you kind of what happened. See here. So this is CeeDee Lamb last night. Put a little music behind it. So this is CeeDee Lamb last night on a crucial play. Dak Prescott got a crossing route going in the end zone. It's coming to the Dak Prescott's right. Dak Prescott throws this ball perfectly. Because what Lamb is saying is that he wanted the ball more out here so he could run to it. But the problem is the ball hit him right in the gut. Right in the gut. So I'm thinking there was another play after this? I'm thinking there was another play after this and they didn't make it. So then CeeDee Lamb, I'm thinking this is after this stuff down there. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. They tried to put the ball in CeeDee Lamb's hands, and you see where a lot of people are talking about it. This is when it said he literally dropped the pass that hit him in the chest. Why not dial up a run instead of 3 straight incompletions? Didn't make sense. But this is a part of Brian Schottenheimer trying to make a concerted effort to get CeeDee Lamb either involved or to make sure that CeeDee Lamb doesn't feel left out. This is dumb stuff. I mean, then you got somebody posting this, CeeDee Lamb versus the Eagles. This is crazy stuff. People talking about bro acting like he got money on the game. Oh boy. But this kind of behavior right here for me is unacceptable. And I really think I'm sure Brian Schottenheimer is doing this. But Brian Schottenheimer needs to have a conversation with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb owes Dak Prescott an apology. He owes Dak Prescott an apology because that is uncalled for. This is just, I don't even understand this. Why would you be acting like this? Nisi says CeeDee has to stop pressuring himself. Exactly. We know he can make these catches, but just don't try to be so extra. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nisi, this is what I was explaining last night. CeeDee Lamb, no, he can't blame anybody but himself. This is nothing. This has nothing to do with the George Pickens discussion that everybody is so afraid of. I'm not afraid of it. I'm just thanking God that we can have a conversation like that. Man, sometimes we gotta learn, man. Sometimes we gotta learn to be thankful for stuff. I'm thankful we can have a conversation that we can have a conversation that there's a wide receiver on the team that could be better than CeeDee Lamb. You don't think that makes me feel good? I don't know what planet y'all from. After going 2 years with the drop off from CeeDee Lamb being a cliff, being the Grand Canyon from CeeDee Lamb, to now having a wide receiver that people are saying is better than CeeDee Lamb, might be better than CeeDee Lamb. You think I'm mad? No, what y'all talking about, man? I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what planet y'all from. Man, this ain't making me mad. I'm glad we got 2 wide receivers that we can have that argument. And one of those wide receivers is CeeDee Lamb, and the other one is George Pickens. Man, George Pickens is a blessing for this team. Blessing for this team. Blessing for this fan base. Man, y'all don't get twisted on this stuff. This team, they're not going to. CeeDee Lamb is not going to lose his mind because people are saying that George Pickens is better than him. I'm telling you, he's not. He's not losing his mind. And he's not going to lose his mind over it. The only thing that's making him lose his mind over it is that he knows he's not performing the way that he should be performing with and on account of George Pickens. Pickens is taking advantage of what he's getting from some of the coverage that's on CeeDee Lamb. And some of it, George Pickens is just taking advantage of. Last night, he caught a ball in triple coverage. George Pickens caught a pass in triple coverage, man. Some of it is just George Pickens just being a doggone alien. Lamb, man, let me tell you something. We ought to be ecstatic. We ought to be excited. And Lamb got to get out of his own head. Bottom line. Woo, man. Super Marts. Gene Marts. He said, appreciate that super chat. He said, gee, if Pickens gets 2,000 receiving yards, it's 3 the MVP. Woo-wee. You know what? I'm going to tell you what I think they would do. If George Pickens got 2,000 yards, because we already know it's a quarterback award. I could see Dak Prescott getting the MVP and George Pickens getting the Offensive Player of the Year. Star Guardian X. I said the same thing today. Star Guardian X said, and people waiting on Pickens to crash out. Man, we waiting on George Pickens to crash out, and Lamb up in this thing acting a pure nut. Embarrassing. And I'm telling you, this is why he skipped out on the press conference last night, because it was embarrassing. He ought to be embarrassed. And I hope when he does give the interview, he apologizes. I hope he apologizes to his team behind closed doors. CeeDee Lamb needs to apologize for this. It's uncalled for. It's uncalled for. It's a pure show of a lack of faith. He thought he had lost the game for the Cowboys, and I'll be doggone, they still won the game. Overreaction by CeeDee Lamb. Overreaction by CeeDee Lamb. And again, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not one of these people saying I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb. I'm not going to be one of those people. I am worried about CeeDee Lamb. Until CeeDee Lamb can show us and his team that he's out of his own head, Lamb is going to be a problem. And the reason why I'm saying Lamb is going to be a problem if he doesn't get out of his own head is because the Cowboys are still going to feed CeeDee Lamb. And if Lamb don't get out of his own head, the only thing we're going to see is more drop passes. We're going to see drop passes. We're going to see thankfully he was down, but almost got stripped last night. Man, he's got to get out of his own head. He's got to get out of his own head. I am worried until he show us that he can get out of his own head. I'm worried. So I don't want the Cowboys to come out against the Chiefs. I don't want them to do this. I don't want them to come out against the Chiefs and start force-feeding. I don't want them to come out against the Chiefs and start force-feeding CeeDee Lamb. Don't force-feed him. Let it be organic. Let it be organic. If KC don't have an answer for Pickens, Make them get an answer for Pickens. And then let CeeDee Lamb break the game wide open. But don't just go out there and start trying to just, hey, we're gonna go to Lamb 3 straight plays. 3 consecutive drives, it's all Lamb. Don't do it like that. Let it be a lot more organic. All right.
Yes! Here we go!
George Pickens, on the other hand. George Pickens, on the other hand, while CeeDee Lamb is having crash outs, George Pickens, I was astonished that he got this. But do y'all know that George Pickens was the player of the game?
All the time, and it's real life still happening. So that component and aspect of life kind of sunk into the team.
Let's go.
Congratulations, George Pickens, LG player of the game. First of all, you guys are down 21-0 at halftime. Nothing seemed to be going right, offense or defensively. What was said to get you guys to come out here in the second half and perform the way you did?
Yeah, man, just preaching to the guys, execution. We kind of knew that one word right there can change a lot for us. We shot ourselves in the foot early, but as long as we was able to execute when it mattered the most, is when we, come through.
Pittsburgh has got to be looking at this man saying, who is this man? They have to be looking at this man saying, who is this man? I guarantee you they're saying this is not the player that was on our team. It's amazing what a change of scenery will do for you. It's amazing what a change of scenery will do for you. Wow. This is what Dak Prescott is talking about. He said he's becoming a leader. Star Guardian X, man, this is funny what you're saying. And not only were people waiting on Pickens to crash out, but Star Guardian X, let's flip this on the other side of this coin too. If anybody in this game that you would have expected to be saying execution and keep playing and being encouraging to the team, if you gonna tell me that it would have been George Pickens and not CeeDee Lamb, I would have been like, nah, ain't no way. George Pickens this dude, George Pickens, is doing things that you would expect. This is what you expect from CeeDee Lamb, but instead it's George Pickens. I'm telling y'all, man, if you've never been the best at something, you might struggle with what I'm explaining to us. But when you've been the best at something, and someone else comes in and now they're the best at something, you're not mad at the fact that they're being the best at something. What you're mad at is yourself, because you know you also should be performing at that level. You don't get mad when your friends are great at something, good at something. You don't get mad at stuff about like that. But what you do get mad at is when you know that both of y'all are the absolute dogs, that y'all are these two wide receivers. Y'all are calling yourselves the good fellas, Mario and Luigi, anything else you want to call it, and you're not doing your part. Yeah, you're frustrated. But what you're really frustrated with is yourself. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, Star Guardian X, this is George Pickens out here. This is George Pickens out here done got player of the game.
Yeah, and Dak obviously has so much, and we talked to him this week about his confidence in you, and I said, hey, if it's one-on-one situation, and you got George on one side, and you got CD on the other, who are you throwing the ball to? He said, Tommy, depends what kind of route. And he said, if it's a slant, I'm throwing to GP, and that was the one that set up the game winner. Tell me about that play.
Literally, like you said, we ran a little concept.
Wow. Coming into this season, just knowing what I know about George Pickens and watching him play at Pittsburgh, what did I say early on in my introduction and in some of the things I said about George Pickens? When George Pickens first came here, everybody was saying, yeah, man, jump balls. Yeah, man, he's a boundary player. I was saying it based on what I saw in Pittsburgh. He always seemed to just be running straight down the field. I didn't really see him do a lot of route combinations, but they said it though. What happened is when CeeDee Lamb went down, he stepped into that spot. He ran some of those routes that CeeDee Lamb was running. He was running some of those routes. He took some of those things that CeeDee was normally responsible for doing, and he started doing them, and it opened up his game. We would have never imagined that if you got them on the left and on the right, and depending upon the route, and you would say a slant, and it would be Pickens. We wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the season. Just goes to show you how George Pickens has really opened up his game.
Call slant, and we really didn't expect the coverage. They've been playing 2 all night, and they played man right there and got failed. I tried to get in the box and try to end the game, but shout out to Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, leave it to Brandon Aubrey to do it. So just tell me, another great win for you guys. Where does this win put you guys and this team in the chase these last 2 months of the season? It's exactly where you want to be. Tell me about that.
It's literally like you said, it's exactly where we want to be. Probably me personally, just tell the guys don't get too high, too low, just keep executing, because that's probably going to be the most thing, that brings us out of a lot of wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw after the Monday night game against the Raiders, the emotion in the locker room. Your first home game, being in front of the home crowd, honoring Marshawn Nealon, your teammate. How did those emotions affect today's game for you guys?
Really a lot. When Marshawn passed away, it really brought everybody on the team closer to brotherhood. This is a game that we play all the time, and, it's real life still happening. So that component and aspect of life kind of sunk into the team, and now, like I said, we've been executing on another level.
Yeah, sure is. Congratulations on the resilience you guys showed today. And you in particular, enjoy that trophy. We'll see you soon.
Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you.
Every game that I broadcast, I award the LSU Player of the
Wow. George Pickens, man. Got to give it to him. George Pickens is doing his thing, man. George Pickens is doing his thing. And right now, man, we just need to enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Blue Blood. Appreciate that super chat. What's going on, Blue Blood? He said City will be fine, G. He just had a bad game. I'm concerned, though. I'm still concerned about CeeDee Lamb. Because, man, when players get in their own head, especially when you start talking about these skill position players, you think about a player, for example, he starts fumbling. Let's say he has a couple of fumbles. Well, then every time he carries the ball, he's always saying, oh, I can't fumble, I can't fumble, I can't fumble. He's in his head, man. He's in his head. So until he gets out of his head, I won't be concerned. But what I am also concerned, and where I am also concerned, Blue Blood, is I don't want the Cowboys to try to force him out of this. I don't want them to force him out of this. And I'm going to come back to a comment. I didn't save it, but I'm going to come back to a comment that someone made earlier and claim this if you made that comment. This is why I'm glad the Cowboys have George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. For this very reason. Cowboys are going to sign George Pickens. Let's say they sign George Pickens, and then, of course, the league next year catches on to George Pickens, and they're saying that we're going to do things to stop George Pickens. Well, because you have CeeDee Lamb, you won't have to worry about a total drop-off because you will still have a number one wide receiver. And if Pickens is having a bad spurt, you got CeeDee Lamb. Lamb's having a bad spurt. You got George Pickens. We ought to be thankful for this. So we don't need to worry. We don't have to be trying. We don't have to. And again, I'm not mad at anybody having the discussion of which one of these wide receivers is the best. Cause I'm gonna sit back and kick my feet up I'm gonna sit back and kick my feet up because I'm like, we couldn't have had this discussion 2 or 3 years ago. We couldn't have this discussion in 2023. We couldn't have this discussion in 2024. Man, I'm so glad we can have these discussions. There's no reason to be mad, man. We ought to be ecstatic that we got 2 receivers that are so good we can have these doggone discussions. Douglas Hairston. Boy, my wife said the same thing yesterday. Douglas said, right, G, let the offense flow. Whoever is cooking, let them cook. That's where I am. Douglas said, remember CD Mama threw Dak under the bus, but Dak didn't do that. Woo, what a powerful comment, Douglas Hairston. What a powerful, powerful comment. I love it. I love that comment. Man, I'm telling you, man, boy, Pittsburgh got to be looking right now going, what? We did not get enough for this man. We did not get enough. We did not get enough. We did not get enough for this man, I'm telling you. Because he is balling. Yeah, Ice Wild said any real athletes have gone through this. And Ice Wild, this is the beauty of it. The Cowboys don't have to force Pickens out of it, though. The Cowboys don't have to force Lamb out of it. When you have a wide receiver going through this, man, it could really hurt the whole team. Because if he's the best wide receiver you have and the fall off is what the Cowboys had about 2 years ago, this team would be in trouble. This team don't win this game against the Eagles. If Lamb is struggling because, maybe Ryan Flanoy, George Pickens, man, we ought to be thankful we have this dude. Because when Pickens go through this, after we sign him, because I don't think it's going to happen this season. Man, Pickens is on a whole nother level this season. Contract year, trying to prove to everybody that he is a number one. This dude's got a lot to play for. I said this previously. He's got a lot to play for. So, he's just playing out of his mind right now. And you just got to sit back and let him go. Just let him go, man. Don't try to hold him back. Let him go. Because I'm telling you, I do believe he can get 2,000 yards. This dude can easily. This dude gets 140 yards a game. You're talking about 9 receptions. He gets 140 yards with ease. He could easily get it. I don't think the Cowboys are going to feed him like that, but he could easily get it. Yeah, this is where Dak's got to stop doing. He's got to stop forcing. And this is what I don't want them to do going against KC. Because when Dak forces the ball to CD Lamb, has anybody else noticed bad things happen? Bad things happen when Dak forces the ball to CD Lamb. We saw it in the 2023 playoffs. We saw it last night. He forced it to him. He threw a similar ball to him the first time. And that one, I think it was in the first half. Forced one to him. They went for it on 4th down, didn't get it. Brian Worley, what up? He said Fat Meat Greasy on them pigeons last night. G and the Chiefs are next. What up, Worley? Yeah. Rich Lloyd says Dijon had his hands in there to dislodge the ball. But wait a minute. Here's my problem. Let me go back. Here's my problem, Rich Lloyd. I don't have the other angle of this play. But the other angle of this play clearly shows, Rich Lloyd. The other angle of this play with CeeDee Lamb clearly shows he dropped the ball before Dijon even did anything as far as putting his hands in there. The ball had already went through his hands. And you can even see it on this play that I have. If you look at this play, it wasn't, and it would have been a great play. But the ball already went through Lamb's hands.
That's in his breadbasket, higher to the outside, but
that ball is just, it's right there. Boom.
That's in his
It looks even worse from the other angle. He just dropped the ball.
That's in his breadbasket, higher to the outside, but that's in his breadbasket, higher to the outside, but that's in his.
Yeah, it looks worse from the other angle. But again, Rich Lloyd. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't show it. Hold on. Rich Lloyd. I can deal with this. I can deal with this, though. I said it earlier. I can deal with this. That drop, I can deal with that. I can seriously deal with this. This is if it's a drop, we can argue. I can deal with this. But what I can't deal with, this is the part I can't deal with, though.
They got one more in them. Yeah.
I can't deal with this. I say the Cowboys have definitely got to talk. They got to talk to CeeDee Lamb about this. He owes Dak Prescott an apology. No doubt about it. Ooh. Casey J says, what is scary is that last night was supposed to be CeeDee's revenge game for playing bad game one. CeeDee's drops is making GP3 more expensive by the game. Yeah, somebody sent me that last night on X in a message. Yeah, somebody sent me that same thing last night, and they're saying that they said that the game that CeeDee Lamb had is only making Pickens more expensive. Oh, man. Hold on a second. Yeah, Bass, let me say this. Yeah, camera's on too. Yeah, bad look. Bad look. Robert Dudley said he's at a breaking point. Talking about CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, he's struggling right now, but I don't want the Cowboys to force him back into this game on Thursday. Let it be organic. Strong said Marty is sleeping on Mingo. He didn't get to play with a QB either. He's a big, physical, fast wide receiver. I can't believe he's not getting any burn. He was shining before the injury. You know what the problem is, Strong? They signed Kevontae Turpin to an $18 million deal. There is no way Kevontae Turpin should be the Cowboys' third wide receiver. There's just no way. He's been absolutely unproductive at the third wide receiver spot. Absolutely. Flournoy should be the third wide receiver. Mingo should be getting some work in there. But as far as, I can't go along with the Turpin thing. I like Turpin. I don't mind him playing him in the third sometimes, especially if he's going to do some kind of gadget play. But don't let it be lining up in the I formation in the backfield. That was crazy to me. Oh, Bass, I like what you said. That wasn't the image he should show towards playing for Marshawn. Yeah, man. I agree. Bad look. Bad look. I'm hoping that he apologizes. I hope he apologizes to Dak Prescott and the team. Let's move forward, CD. Get your head in the game, bro. Get your head in the game. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, you had some drops last night. We can deal with that. But what we can't deal with is the behavior you displayed on the sideline. We got to get away from that. All right. Show a couple of things here about the Cowboys defense before Monday Night Football comes on. Appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. The Cowboys defense. We got to talk about the Cowboys defense, man. We have got to talk about the Cowboys defense. These boys looked incredible. They looked incredible, especially after that first quarter. I mean, they shut the Philadelphia Eagles down, man. They absolutely shut them down. I wanted to look at something on the snap count. Let me see here. This isn't as complete as I would like for it to be. Let's see. All right, let's look something up real quick. Cowboys did some very interesting things on their snap count I'm a little bit concerned about Kalen Carson. Somebody said it was cramps, but he wasn't acting like those were cramps. But it's a short week, so hopefully we'll hear some about him tomorrow. Let's see here. Week 12. Let's look at some of the things the Cowboys did on the snap count, some of the rotations the Cowboys were able to do. So Kenny Clark had 40 snaps. Oso Digizua had 42 snaps. Oso Digizua had a really good game. Solomon Thomas had 19 snaps. Quentin Williams had 46 snaps. Cowboys have got a really, really good rotation going with their defensive tackles. I'm hoping that they can get Perion Winfrey involved at some point this season. Defensive end, I still think the Cowboys need to tweak this defensive end rotation. Ezra Raku had 37. Williams had 22. Fowler had 23. Clowney had 27. Houston had 19. I do think the Cowboys are kind of taking away from themselves by not letting two of these defensive ends in particular play more snaps. Ezra Raku got the most, but I think that the combinations for me, it would be Donovan Ezra Raku and Jadeveon Clowney. Those are the two that I would be using as my regulars, and then I would use James Houston on. I would definitely have James Houston in on passing downs or third and longs and things of that nature. He seems to be a very, very good pass rusher. But again, the Cowboys are trying to keep that rotation going. It looked pretty good last night for the most part. I was a little bit surprised that Murray had more snaps than Logan Wilson, I believe. Logan Wilson had 24 snaps. Overshown, of course, had 37. They're going to continue to ramp him up. Murray Jr. had 39. I was a little bit surprised. And now Savone Revel Jr., he's had to step up in his snap counts simply because Kalen Carson went out. So they revved him up a little bit more than they wanted to. Let's see here. Savone had 39 snaps. Deron Bland had 60. Reddy Stewart's played pretty good for the Cowboys. He had 36 snaps. So that's kind of where the Cowboys are on their defense. They had a pretty good defensive rotation as far as what they have pulled off. And then when you look at the some of the box score stuff, Cowboys were all over. And I mean the Cowboys were all over these boys, man. I think the safety play for the Cowboys has been a little bit better, but they have played two teams where the offense hasn't been that good. I think they're going to get tested against the Kansas City Chiefs, so we're going to really see where they were. Overshown, 4 tackles, 1 assist. Odigizua had a great game, 2 tackles, 2 assists, 1 sack. Reddy Stewart, 2 tackles, 2 assists. Deron Bland had another great game after getting torched in Arizona. I mean, just an overall great game. Savone Revel Jr. played a really good game also. It won't show up here. He had 2 tackles. He had 3 passes caught on him. But the 3 passes he had caught on him were A.J. Brown. Man, A.J. Brown, even though they're not using him right in Philadelphia, man, A.J. Brown is a tough out. Especially when you're talking about a cornerback who has literally been out of the game. You're talking about a cornerback that has been out of the game for how many? For what, 14 months? He was out of the game for 14 months. And again, looking back at the game box score yesterday, looking at the Cowboys here on defense, the Cowboys did a bang-up job after that first half for sure. 339 yards. I thought this was pretty amazing when you look at this on the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at the player stats, I didn't look at this yesterday, but I thought this was incredible when someone brought it up today. The Cowboys held Saquon Barkley to 22 yards? What? That is insane. Since Quentin Williams has hit the door, if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys have given up less than 50 yards. Wow. Wow. And I'm going to tell you, man, to hold Jalen Hurts to 7 for 33, man, that's pretty good. They really contained Jalen Hurts for the most part. I give the Cowboys so much credit, man. Their defense is crazy. Their defense has played really, really, really well. Cowboys did some numbers on them. A.J. Brown had one of his, it might have been his best game of the season. Again, he was 8 for 110, 13 yards, 13.8 yards per catch. And the funny thing is, when you think about A.J. Brown probably felt better last night losing and getting 8 receptions and 110 yards than he does when they win and he gets no receptions and no yards. It's a crazy world we live in. But the Cowboys, man, for the most part, they really, really shut this team down. They really shut this team down. Defense did an absolute bang up job. Held them to 19 first downs, 5 of 12 on third down, and this is on 58 total plays. I mean, the Cowboys were wheeling and dealing. And the funny thing is about the Cowboys, they were 8 for 69. They got all their penalties in the first half mostly. The Eagles came back in the second half and just fell apart. And the huge difference in this game are these 2 fumbles. They really did Philadelphia in. They did them in with those fumbles. Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, they had 31 minutes time of possession, but a lot of that actually came in the first half too. I mean, the Cowboys, man, the Cowboys defense. I mean, you just can't say enough about the Cowboys defense. As bad as that defense has been over the last few weeks, Matt Eberflus did, and what he in the game he called was fantastic. I was looking at a story over here on Cowboys Wire I thought was very interesting also. It says over here on Cowboys Wire, 3 takeaways. Defense rescued Cowboys from self-inflicted wounds. I saw a comment that Nisi made early, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. The defense is actually doing its part now, and I think that is really good for this team, because if this defense can just play like it played against, if this defense can hold teams to about 20 to 21 points, I even say 24. Cowboys can beat those teams if they can hold to 24. Says here, the Dallas Cowboys opened against the Philadelphia Eagles like they had done in most of their recent big games over the last few seasons. The offense struggled early, and the team found themselves down by multiple scores. Those games typically end horribly. This is the point that Nisi made. This time, though, the defense stood up and made enough stops to allow the offense to wake up and bring them back. Dallas created 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter, and the offense scored on 3 of its final 5 drives as they moved the ball effectively in the second half. Hopefully, the main long-range takeaway from this game is that it was the start of a new day for the Cowboys against one of the best teams in the NFL. But for now, here are the top takeaways from this week 12 division win. Self-inflicted problems plagued the Dallas Cowboys early.
Here we go.
Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb had a miscommunication on a deep pass that cost them an early big play. While Prescott worked out the kinks, the same couldn't really be said for wide receiver 1. Lamb also had an early drop, then another that would have been a third down conversion, and a drop touchdown in the second half. The defense had a penalty on a third down stop that extended Philadelphia's drive, which ended in a touchdown. A false start inside the 1-yard line on Tyler Guyton turned into a throw for a 5-yard line from the 5-yard line and an interception in the end zone. Philadelphia got up to 21-0 despite those early mistakes. The Cowboys defense saved the game for Dallas. Says Cowboys defense gave up touchdowns on the first 3 drives of the game for Philadelphia, but that was a bit deceptive. The Eagles' opening drive came after a turnover on downs, giving them the ball at midfield. That was Brian Schottenheimer going for on 4th down. The second drive was a stop that was extended by a bad roughing the punter. Brian Schottenheimer should have called a challenge flag on that, where Ryan Flournoy got his fingers on the punt, but the refs missed it. The third scoring drive for the Eagles was after a Dallas fumble. The offense and poor officiating had a bigger hand in the defense's issues than the defense. In the second half, the defense allowed no points on 6 drives and forced a turnover. Dallas missed a field goal, turned the ball over on downs inside the 5-yard line, but the defense made continuous stops to allow the offense to come back and seal the victory. Takeaway number 3. Pickens has evolved into a tier 1 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best receivers in football, but against Philadelphia, he's had a bad game with good statistics but poorly timed drops. An awful game with lower stats and multiple drops. Lamb's had 7 drops combined in those 2 contests. Pickens was solid in the first game, but it is his first real contest with Prescott as his quarterback. In Week 12, he played possibly the best game of his career. He caught all 9 passes thrown to him for 146 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 16 yards per reception and made nearly every big play on scoring drives. Yep, when they started throwing the Pickens, they opened up the offense. He caught the first touchdown for Dallas. Then after Lamb took over the second touchdown drive, Pickens caught a 43-yard bomb to set up the tying score. On the game-winning drive, he saw the final pass to put Dallas in field goal range for the win. Pickens is in the top 2 in yards and has 9 touchdown receptions. Yeah, Pickens has been incredible this year. There's no other way to get around it. There's no other way to get around it. He's been incredible. He's absolutely been incredible. I mean, last night the stats were not updated. I showed them last night. These are the updated stats. Jackson Smith and Jibba. Jackson Smith. I'm about to hear somebody pronounce his name. Jackson Smith. 11 games. George Pickens, 11 games. 80 receptions. He has 13 more receptions than George Pickens. 107 targets for Jackson Smith. 92 for George Pickens. George Pickens has a whopping 1,054. Jackson Smith has 13. He's balling out of his mind. He's absolutely balling out of his mind. But for Pickens to be doing this with the Cowboys, with CeeDee Lamb opposite of him, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. But yeah, the Cowboys defense absolutely bailed them out. And Brian Schottenheimer, Dak Prescott, you heard him admit it. They both said as much. The Cowboys defense was absolutely incredible. All right. We're going to be back tomorrow. Got videos coming out tonight. Y'all stay on the lookout for those. We're going to have a long show tomorrow. Y'all get ready. We're going to get started at around 4:30. We are going to do the Cowboys road to the playoffs. We'll also be doing the Cowboys, the Cowboys preview show versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be very interesting. Whole lot of things coming up tomorrow as we start talking about the Cowboys. Short week. Then it'll be Wednesday. We're going to do Bible study. Of course, I'll be doing a show on Wednesday. Then, guess what? I will be live on Thanksgiving. Yep. I will be live on Thanksgiving. Got to make sure I'm going to eat some turkey. Eat some dressing with my family. And then I'm going to make sure that I come back and be with my Cowboys family on Let's Talk Cowboys. And we will do the pregame show. And then I'll let y'all watch the game and eat more dressing. And then we're going to have the Cowboys post-game show. And I got a strange feeling. We are going to be returning And we are going to be ecstatic because the Cowboys are going to win again. Cowboys are going to win again. And we are going to be in the thick of the playoff race. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Loving it. Appreciate y'all, man. Best chat on YouTube. Poobie D, Dominique Pittman, The Queen. Those shirts have, well, Poobie D and Dominique, your shirts, I believe, have shipped. The Queen, yours is coming from NFL.com. I'm pretty sure it'll ship in the next couple of days. And I'm waiting on the Football Fanatic. He didn't send me anything to my email address, so I'll be trying to catch him on the next couple of shows and see if he's going to send us something. But send me something and get his shirt. But again, guys, we got to give away those George Pickens jerseys. We got to give away that George Pickens jersey and that DeMarion Overshown jersey. We're going to devise a way to do it. Chanel, what up with you? Didn't see you in the chat. Make sure you be on tomorrow, man. Come on. You and Robert Lloyd, yay. I want to see y'all with some stats tomorrow. And everybody else got anything to contribute to the show, I want to see those. Rich Lloyd, I'm sorry. Rich Lloyd, y'all bring some facts in here tomorrow. Everybody use Chanel, because I'm going to bring some things tomorrow, so it's going to be on and popping. Rich Lloyd said, my guess on Logan is his knowledge of the playbook, and depending on their game plan, he'll be getting more snaps as he learns more plays. Yeah, I think he's going to play more against Kansas City. Chanel said, G, can you explain to me why is Murray still getting ran? He looked terrible. He was out of position on a lot of plays. Easy also does not hold the edge well, and he got no pressure in the game at all. Chanel, Murray is one of these players I believe they paid. I think they paid him, so they want to see him out there. But hopefully the next game, we're going to see more of Logan Wilson because he looks really good out there. He does. He looks really good out there. All right, Georgie George, he said, hey, G, what do you think about our defense? Oh, I'm loving it. Our defense is going to give Kansas City all kinds of problems. What about Travis Kelce? Man, we're going to see if these safeties will really improve when they go against Kansas City. We're going to see. Chanel said it's Eberflus bend and don't break is still not great on the back end, G. They're still giving up too many yards. Well, I'll tell you this, Chanel. I mentioned this earlier. Philly's offense has kind of struggled. But we're gonna get a true test against Kansas City. Because I guarantee you, Andy Reid's been studying the Cowboys. And if there's anybody that's gonna try to exploit every weakness, it will be Andy Reid. I am excited for this matchup. It's going to be a true test for Matt Eberflus. It's going to be a true test for this Dallas Cowboys team. But after what they have done, what they withstood against the Philadelphia Eagles, this team is battle tested this year. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right, I appreciate it. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.
Yo, G, bless.